So welcome everybody. Hopefully you are in the right place. This is a nursing admission webinar. So today we're just going to kind of talk about how to apply to the nursing program. I'll do a few quick introductions. I know Ellie did some a bit earlier, but I'm Lorelei. I'm a pre-nursing advisor for Boise State, along with my colleague Ellie Pierce. If you want to wave Ellie, she's also a pre-nursing advisor. Jacob Allen, if you want to wave as well. Jacob is our peer advisor for the pre-nursing students. And then Candace Johnson, if you want to give us a wave. Candace is our nursing student service manager, so once students are admitted into the program. And then Thomas Camara, if you want to give us a wave too. Thomas is our nursing advisor, so once students are admitted into the nursing program, Thomas will be their advisor. So just a few housekeeping items before we really get diving in. If you guys want to use the chat function for more general questions, if your questions come up along the presentation, if you want to just use that chat feature, Jacob Allen will be answering those questions for you kind of as we go along. If you have more specific questions regarding to your nursing case or whatever, just save those for a follow-up meeting with Ellie Pierce, and she'll hopefully be able to answer those, some more specific advising questions. So just a little quick overview about what we're going to be going over today. The first thing is going to be pre-nursing requirements. We'll go over our pre-nursing grid. And then Candace is going to go through the nursing application process and give you the rundown on that. And then Jacob is going to answer a few frequently asked questions that you guys might have. So hopefully we'll be able to cover some of the questions that you have through this presentation. Jacob, if you want to go to the next slide here. So the first thing is am I ready to apply? So two main things to look at is, have you been admitted to Boise State? So you must be an admitted Boise State student with a student number. So that's going to be an important thing to make sure you're looking at. And then the other thing is do you meet all the pre-required prerequisites? So all the classes are either completed or in progress. And so right now we're just going to take a look at some of these prerequisites and go through the pre-nursing grid. Okay, so the first thing you'll notice, some of you may have seen this document before, some of you it may be new to, but this is basically all of the pre-nursing requirements that we have here. So the first thing to look at, you must be done with all of the classes in that orange or peach color right there. So all those classes must be done and have a posted grade. So another requirement in those peach classes, you must have a C or higher in all of those peach courses as well. If you look at the blue courses there, those are the courses that must be at least in progress with the semester you apply to the program. So if you're planning on applying in the fall, you must be done or in progress with those classes in the blue there. And you must have a C or better. Correct me if I'm wrong, Candace, but that's right, a C or better in those blue classes. Okay, so then another thing to make sure you're meeting the requirement for is what we call the admission GPA. And so you'll see we've highlighted what the admission GPA course is in the blue right there. So this is a combination of these 5 classes. So it's going to be Chem 101 or Chem 111, one of those 2 classes. It's going to be Health 207, so that's nutrition, Bio 227, Bio 228, Anatomy and Physiology, Part 1 and Part 2, and then Statistics class. So the minimum requirement is going to be a 3.0 or higher of the GPA in those combined 5 classes. So you're going to make sure that you're meeting that minimum there as well. And the admission GPA is also the GPA they're going to be using to rank students in the applicant pool. So just know that that's kind of the big 5 classes to really focus on. And then the last minimum requirement is a cumulative GPA of a 2.5 or higher. So this means all of your classes you've taken, transfer credits or at Boise State, your cumulative must be a 2.5 or higher. So that's kind of all of the pre-requirements I have, unless I'm missing something. Just know that you're going to want to meet with Ellie before you're ready to submit your application. And one thing I didn't mention earlier is the courses in the green there. Those are courses that they just highly recommend students to take before getting into the program, just because once students are admitted in the program, it's a full-time schedule and not a whole lot of wiggle room for electives. So that's just why we put those on the grid as well. But those are all the pre-nursing requirements. If you want to go on to the next slide there, and you can take it away.
Great. So where do you start? Once you've met those prerequisites and you have met with your academic advisor and you think you're pretty much ready to go, it's time to do that Boise State application, or that nursing application. You should have already done the Boise State application. So you would visit our website, Bachelor of Science in Nursing website, to find that application. And once you get there, you will select application instructions. Okay, we're going there. Yeah, so then we're going to click that orange box. It says Review Application Instructions. And then we're going to scroll down to Apply to the program. And down here we should see, there we go, another orange box. So this is your Boise State School of Nursing application. And as Jacob scrolls down a little bit, you're going to see a lot of those questions are self-explanatory, very easy, general questions. Where we're going to focus today is when we get down here and it's time to enter information about courses that are in progress. So basically you're going to click through and it's going to say, you know, do you meet the requirements? Yes. When you get down to, are you currently taking any in progress courses, you're either going to click the ones that you're taking, or you're going to click, I do not have any of these in progress courses. And those are mostly sometimes our second bachelor seeking students or someone who's applying for the second time. Jacob, if you could just click next to Sociology 101. Yeah, so say you have Sociology 101 in progress, you're going to click that box, and then as you see down here, it opened a section and it's going to ask you for the course subject and catalog number and the university. So I don't know, say you're taking Sociology 101 at CWI, you're just going to put Soc 101 in that first box, and then under university you'll put CWI. Then as we scroll down, that also asks for documentation of enrollment. You don't have to upload, or I guess I should preface it with, please do not upload any transcripts through this upload site. All of your transcripts should be sent to admissions. If you're a current student and you've been floating back and forth between us and a community college, please make sure that you have sent that your summer transcript has been sent to admissions, because we're going to look up that information for you. The application used to ask for you to send all your transcripts, highlight, circle, all that. You're not going to do that. We're going to look up all that information. But the next little upload place is pre-approved course documentation. What this means is you've probably met with your academic advisor and you've taken a nutrition class somewhere else, or a microbiology or something like that, and you and your advisor has worked with my office to get approval for those courses for your application. And this approval will go through the email, and you'll just save that email, and that's what you'll upload as pre-approved course documentation. So again, we're never uploading any transcripts, but if we do pre-approve a course for you to be one of your prerequisites, then you'll go ahead and upload that. If we scroll on down, again, it's a bunch of information for you to read and agree to. It tells you all about health requirements and all that. Then your demographic information. Okay, now we get to the bottom of the application. You have two options at this point. You can either submit or save and continue later. I cannot emphasize enough the importance of saving and continuing later. As long as you are on the ball and trying to get started as early as possible on your application, go ahead and click Save and Continue Later. Ellie will touch on it later, but you can actually put her email address in there for it to go to her to review, to do your application review for you. But you also, by doing that, gives you time to walk away from it, then come back and go through it and make sure that everything is true to the best of your knowledge and that your application is ready to go. So once you do that and you've reviewed it, then submit it and you're all finished, and then you wait for us to review. But yeah, that's the gist of the application. And again, if you have any questions, you could put those in chat or we can ask those at the end.
So this is the part that I get to walk you through. We accept applications both fall and spring semester. And it always feels a little odd that when we're talking about people who are applying in fall, what you are saying to us, in essence, is I would like my application to be considered so that I can be admitted starting in spring semester. So there's always a semester of do the application, wait for your answer before you actually begin the program. The same is true in spring. If you are applying in spring and the deadline is March 1st, this is where it gets funky. See, I know you could look at that and say, oh, well, I want to start in spring, so I should apply, and my deadline is October 1. Or you can say to yourself, I really want to start the next fall, and that would mean that your application would be due to us March 1st. Clear as mud, right? It is, as Candace mentioned, really good if all the transfer credits you might have taken at any other college or university have already been posted to your My Boise State student account. The only exception to this rule is if you are a second degree seeking student. If that is the case, we should talk. It's complicated. It's going to be necessary for us to help you communicate that after you submit your application as an email to the nursing admissions people, because we really, really, really don't want you to attach any transcripts to this application. I'm sort of an expert on postbacks, so I'm your huckleberry. All right, and slide 6, please. Save your application. As Candace mentioned, those two functions down at the bottom of the application. Submit is really for after you have either met with me or, in a much more streamlined approach, just put my email, name, and address into the Save and Continue Later field when you select it. That will cause your application to come to me. I'll review it. It might take me a day or two. I promise I'm not ignoring you, but I will review it and let you know if anything needs to be altered. Usually this is a pretty straightforward application, and you're just going to get an email back from me that says, looks good, go ahead and submit. Okay. Slide. Thank you. You've submitted. Take a breath. This is a stressful event for everyone, no matter where you're at in your progression toward seeking a nursing career, that pushing of the submit button is intense. Please remember that the committee will not even begin to deliberate on applications until we have passed the October 1st deadline. For this reason, what you need to do is refocus. A lot of you are in Patho and Micro this semester. This is a great time to focus on those classes or anything else that you might be taking in fall semester. This is also a great time for you to remember that all the notifications that come from the School of Nursing Selection are going to come to your My Boise State student email address. I cannot emphasize enough how important it is that you are either consistently using that email or that you have taken the time and trouble to figure out how to have all the emails that come to that address forwarded to whatever email you choose to use. Boise State does not put a lot of energy and time into snail mail. It's really important that we can reach you through your Boise State student email address, particularly in the semester when you apply. Now, all that being said, in the course of the month of October this year, my colleagues and I are going to present another workshop on what we call parallel plan. And that's a great time to relieve your stress by learning more about all the other amazing healthcare careers that you might consider if you apply and don't get in and are frustrated by the whole reapplication process. We want you to reapply. We believe that you can be a nurse, but it also might be a really great time to learn more about our other careers. Slide. Thank you. These are some of our application FAQs.
Okay, I got some questions for you guys. Whoever wants to answer, feel free. There might be some toughies in here. We'll see. Okay, is there an essay or interview portion to the application?
Candace?
Currently, there is not. What we're going to be looking at on your application, the biggest thing that we're looking at is that admissions GPA. So those big 5 classes that Lorelei spoke about in the beginning, that's going to be the heaviest part of your application. So we look at that. We look at how many repeated, of course, in those big 5s, but again, that's not very heavy. The heaviest bulk is that GPA.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you. All right. What if I took some of my prereqs at other colleges? How do I make sure you guys get those classes?
Send your transcripts, your official transcripts, by logging into the registrar's website of the school where you attended, not Boise State. There is usually a function for sending an official transcript to Boise State. The earlier you can do that, so as soon as those prereq grades have posted, that is the time to send that transcript to Boise State. It will be processed by our admissions folks, evaluated by our folks in the registrar's office, and then the transfer credits will post to your Boise State student account.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you. Lorelei, I heard you talking about a bunch of these different classes, and you mentioned the in-progress classes. Well, what if I don't do well in those classes? What happens then?
Yeah, so if you're not doing well or you can't maybe foresee you being successful in these classes, I would definitely recommend meeting with an advisor at that point and meeting with your instructor to kind of reevaluate some things. Just know with those blue courses, it would be the sociology class, the Health 300 Patho, and then the Bio 205 class. You must have a C or higher in those for you to continue on, if you're accepted, to continue on into the nursing program at that point.
Gotcha. Thank you. Okay, I've got some few more here. Can I send my application at any time? I know you guys talked about the save and continue thing. Can I start it now and then finish it later? Does that make sense to do?
We have, do you want to take it, Ellie?
No, you do it.
We have 2 application cycles. The current application cycle opened up on August 1st, and it's open until October 1st. You can use that save and continue function during that open cycle. The next cycle is for fall semester 2021, and it'll open on January 1st and close on March 1st. So basically, you will only have access to the application during that time, and we just recommend you getting your application in by the deadline.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
And although
so when go ahead,
it's
Ellie.
not a foot race, so you don't have to turn it in now. And you can use the save and continue feature to perfect it or ask my help for it to be perfected. What we do want to emphasize is you probably should not wait until September 29th.
Okay. Sounds good. And Ellie, you talked about having to come in and have my application reviewed. When I do that, does it have to be finished all the way? Can I have some things blank that I may be confused about? How does that work?
If you're confused about any part of the application, I recommend that you send it to me by using my email address, using the save and continue feature. I can then review it, let you know what else needs to be done, and then, of course, come in this era of COVID means that we make a Zoom appointment. We can definitely do that and definitely review an application, whether it is done or not. But if you have questions that I can answer by email, we can probably be more efficient that way.
Sounds good. And then one more. So once I actually submit it, how will I know that it was successfully submitted? Do I get an email? How does that work?
You will get a confirmation email upon successful submission of your application.
Cool. Easy enough. Okay, I'm full of questions. I got some more for you. This is after I submitted my application. How long does it take for me to know whether I got in or not?
Shall we all say it together? 4 to 8 weeks from October 1st. It can take less time in some application cycles. We are extremely confident that the changes we've made to this application are going to make our deliberations more efficient, but we have 4 to 8 weeks.
Gotcha. Okay. So what happens if I'm a GEM or WUI recipient and I am accepted into the program?
You want to tell them, Candace?
Yeah, great news. We learned that starting in the fall, I think, is that what it was, Ellie? The fall? That you can keep your GEM WUI scholarship while in the program. Used to, you would have to forego the scholarship, but they have. I don't know how long it's going to continue, but I know that they are trying it.
That is great news. And yes, I think it was just this fall going forward.
Awesome. Okay. And I've heard some things about a Kaplan test. However, I know that that is not going to be required for this semester, this application cycle with everything going on. However, if I don't get in this semester, will I have to take it in the future?
I would plan to have to take it in the future. Just always check the Boise State website, the School of Nursing website, for any new updates. We try to keep it updated regularly. Yeah, again, I would plan for it, but in these uncertain times, it has made everything so uncertain. We don't know what's happening.
I'll keep that in mind. Thank you. And then my last question, I promise. What are some other options to explore if I'm not accepted? I heard you talk about some parallel plans. Is this something I should maybe make an appointment about to go, further in depth with?
We were hoping that anyone who is interested in learning more about parallel plans would plan to be with us in our Zoom workshop, which will take place at 11 a.m. on October 22nd. We're going to have wonderful guest speakers from a lot of other healthcare-related programs. We're going to have a wonderful guest speaker from Advising and Academic Support Center, which advises for every program on this campus. It's going to be terrific. Can't wait to have you be there.
Awesome. Perfect. Well, thank you guys for answering my questions. I appreciate it.
Heck yes.
So yeah, if you still have any questions, contact your pre-nursing advisor. Ellie Pierce is going to be your #1 contact if you're ready to apply to the program. I take a lot of the first-year students, and so just make sure you're contacting Ellie Pierce through email or scheduling an appointment with her if you have more specific questions. Like I say, don't forget to make that appointment with Ellie so she's able to help review your application before you're ready to submit. Yeah, I believe that's kind of all I have for this slide.
Okay. We have a chat question. How many people are accepted into the program each semester?
Currently, we are accepting 80 students in each cohort. That, of course, is always subject to change. We recently increased to 80 to help fill the nursing gaps in the state of Idaho. But depending on resources and everything that happens, it's always subject to change.
And another chat question. Do we need to send our transcripts to admissions before we submit our application, or does the order not matter?
Please submit your transcripts to admissions as soon as possible. If you're not already admitted to Boise State, you will not be admitted to Boise State until they have those transcripts. And so the very first step in your application is to be admitted to Boise State.
And another chat question. Do we need our major to be nursing prior to applying?
Nope, you will be a pre-nursing student or whatever major that is. If you are accepted into the program, you will be given instructions to change your major to nursing.
Just to restate one more time, Candace, so we don't have to take the Kaplan this semester due to COVID.
Correct. We do not have to take it for the spring 2021 start. We want you to stay tuned to find out for sure about the fall 2021 start. We plan for it for fall 2021.
Do pending classes influence the panel's decision? No, because your pending classes will not have recorded grades. Now, let us say that something really went awry and you got a C- in micro. Although you might have received an offer, that C-, correct me if I'm wrong, Candace, would prevent you from, would invalidate your application offer.
We're talking about a C- in the in-progress courses?
Right. So let's say we roll over into spring of 2021 and an admitted part of the 2021 cohort comes up with a C- in biology 205.
No, because that's still a passing grade. They passed the course.
Awesome. All right. Just to clarify, there is no option to take the Kaplan for the start of spring term.
Correct.
When should we expect, sorry, I'm scrolling, the first drug test, and are we tested every semester after that?
Your first drug test will be before you start the spring semester if you are admitted, and I believe that's our clinical team that handles all that. I believe that is done every semester.
Thank you. How many applications do you anticipate for this cycle?
We anticipate, we usually get anywhere from 150 to 175 applications a cycle.
Yep. I came to Boise State with an associate's degree. Do I still have to take Sociology 101? No, you don't. It said on the application to contact your advisor, which I have done recently through email. I did not know a meeting with my advisor is required. Is this going to be an issue if I've already submitted my nursing application? No, it is not. Is the option to keep the GEM WUI beginning this fall or fall 2021?
That's fall 2021.
About the application, what box, if any, should I check if I have already completed some of the in-progress prerequisites?
So the in-progress prerequisites, you'll only check the boxes that apply to you. So if you've completed SOCH and Patho and you're only taking micro, then you'll check it. If you've completed all of them, then you'll check the box that says I don't have any in-progress prerequisite courses.
Is there only one cohort for spring semester, meaning only 80 students accepted for spring semester?
Yes, we accept 80 students in the spring and 80 students in the fall.
And I'm going to assume that when you say talk to you, you mean that you had a meeting with me. If we already talked to you recently, do we need to schedule another appointment to go over our applications, or will you do that separately and email us after I have gone through it? Yes, if you do the save and continue and you send it to me, I'll review it and email you back. So if you were to apply to begin in the spring, would you lose your WUI scholarship? And if so, would you be able to get it back starting next fall?
That's a good question.
That's a really good question.
Do you want to check on that, Ellie, and get back?
I'm going to have to, because that could be a huge thing. I'm going to have to check on that. I don't have any concrete answer for you right now.
I have a little bit more specific information about an email we received. I don't know if this will help answer a question.
Okay.
But it says both pre-nursing and nursing students are eligible to receive the WUI, this is just WUI, effective fall 2021, provided they meet all requirements. However, it does sound like we will have a one-year trial one, so fall 2022 might look a little bit different for eligible majors.
Awesome. Thank you,
I don't know if
Lola.
that helped answer any questions. But.
It does. It sounds, therefore, as if you could, even if you lost your WUI or GEM, if you were WUI eligible, that you might get it back in fall of 2021. Lorelei, would you like to follow up on that and maybe give us further information down the road?
Yeah, I can do some digging on that.
That would be awesome. Thank you so much. If I am a BSU student already and taking the 3 in-progress classes this semester while applying to the program, what would I put in the 2 boxes that pop up underneath, like the course and university?
You will just put the course name and number, like Social 101, Biology 205, Health 300, and then you'll put Boise State. So that just tells us that you'll put it in there, but a report that we run that pulls your grades or pulls what you're taking, we'll also see it in that report. But yeah, just put Boise State.
Awesome. Anybody else have a question for my distinguished panel? Thank you all so much. This has been great. You made it great.
I have one more question, I guess, that might benefit the group. Ellie, if you want to ask or answer, how does a repeat impact the nursing application process in the Big 5 courses?
Wow. The short answer is that since I don't get to sit on the selection committee, I don't honestly know. What I can tell you is that if you go to the School of Nursing webpage, you will notice under the prerequisite classes that there's a line of text which says that excessive repeats can negatively impact your application. I'm cautious to interpret that as meaning that maybe one repeat wouldn't throw you out of the competition, but that is my hope. Candace, would you care to comment?
I think you answered that question very well. As I went through earlier when I was talking about the application requirements, the biggest bulk of that is going to be that admin GPA. A small percentage of that is repeats, and there's not a huge amount of points, but if you don't get any points taken away because you have repeats. It just might be points you don't get if you have excessive repeats.
Thank you.
Yeah, Ellie, just real quick too. The other thing I would add is outside of the application for the nursing program, if you all are using financial aid, there's only a certain amount of retakes. So that's something else to think about. It's sometimes not just dealing with admissions for our program, but if you're using financial aid, there's only a certain amount of retakes that you can have.
Thank you, Thomas. That is a good point.
I think we've
All right.
got another question that came in.
Okay. I saw in the application that there was a question that asks if applicants have prior certification like CNA or EMT, etc. It says then that doesn't factor the selection process. Then why is it there?
So it doesn't currently factor in the selection process. This is just information that we gather for AACN, our accrediting body.
And is our cumulative GPA looked at or just the grades of the 5 classes?
You need to have a cumulative GPA of at least a 2.5 to be eligible to apply. That is the main time it's looked at. The only other point in time that it may possibly be looked at is when we are trying to have a clean break where we've got our 80 students that made the admissions with the, everything, and then we select our number of alternates that we select. And if there's a lot of students with the same amount of points based on their admissions GPA and we need a clean break, we might use that cumulative GPA right there.
Awesome. Well said. And one very kind person says that, thanks so much for this information. The entire panel is amazing. I agree, my colleagues are amazing. You are so welcome, all of you. Anything else? Any other questions? All right. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts for attending this, and we look forward to your applications and to seeing you move forward into the nursing program. Go Bronco Nurse.
Best of luck, everyone, and stay healthy.